having an affair with his adopted daughter and manipulating her to kill his wife? This may sound unbelievable, but it's a true story. In the early morning of November 16, 2012, police received an emergency call from a house in Willoughby Hills, Ohio. A frantic girl reported that her foster mother was being brutally attacked by her foster sister. By the time police arrived at the scene, it was too late. The victim showed no signs of life. At first, the perpetrator tried to deny and justify her actions. But as the police began their investigation, a series of shocking secrets gradually surfaced. The girl didn't act alone. Her foster father was also involved. So, who was the real mastermind? And what was the reason behind it all? Join us as we uncover the full truth behind this case. Before we begin, please like and subscribe to our channel to not miss any upcoming videos. 1:15 a.m. November 16, 2012. On Gill Lob Mountain, Ohio, while most people were asleep, an emergency call shattered the quiet night. On the other end of the line, a 13-year-old girl named Megan frantically told the police that her 18-year-old sister Sabrina was attacking their mother. Lisa Knofel, 41, lived with her 3 daughters: Sabrina, 18, Megan, 13, and Haley, 3. Her husband, Kevin Knofel, 42, a truck driver, was driving across Michigan at the time of the incident. When the police arrived, Megan stood at the door, tears streaming down her face, screaming, "She killed my mother." Without hesitation, the officers rushed inside. Sabrina emerged from Lisa's bedroom. The young girl was covered in blood, her hands trembling, but she still tightly gripped the weapon. Inside, Lisa Knofel had been brutally attacked and showed no signs of life. Faced with this horrifying scene, a veteran officer gasped, "This is the worst crime scene I've ever witnessed." Before they could regain composure, they found little Haley, 3 years old, trembling in the corner of a closet. Thankfully, she was unharmed. Sabrina Zunick was born on October 27, 1994. She was not Lisa Knofel's biological daughter. Her birth parents, Edward and Unique, were both heavy drug addicts. Her father died of an overdose, while her mother was an alcoholic who was frequently in and out of jail. Sabrina's childhood was filled with chaos and a lack of affection. Her grandmother was the only one who cared for her, but she couldn't stop her from drinking and using drugs. By 14, Sabrina had started using illegal substances and stealing money from her grandmother to buy alcohol. At 14, Sabrina was sent to the Emmaus House Rehab Center in Ohio, a facility for troubled and addicted teenagers. At 16, she was adopted by Lisa and Kevin Knofel. Lisa was a social worker who specialized in helping children with difficult backgrounds. Initially, Sabrina adapted well. She became close to her 2 younger foster sisters, Megan, 13, and Haley, 3. The 3 often went to school together, played, and lived like a real family. When she turned 18, Sabrina once asked Lisa, "Can I stay here to finish my studies?" This showed that she once considered this house her real home. However, this was only the surface. Deep inside, Sabrina harbored emotional wounds that were not easily healed. Right after the incident, the police officially announced the perpetrator was Sabrina Zunick, the victim's adopted daughter. News spread quickly, becoming a hot topic in the media. Initial investigations revealed that Sabrina had been living with the family for a year and a half. The neighbors were shocked as they had always thought she was a cheerful and energetic girl with no signs of trouble. But the crime scene was horrifying. The forensic report showed that the victim had nearly 200 wounds. No one could understand what drove Sabrina to such brutality. Sabrina's biological father immediately returned upon hearing the devastating news. However, when confronted by the police, he remained silent, unable to explain what had happened to his daughter. Sabrina did not deny killing Lisa. However, she claimed she couldn't clearly remember what had happened. This made the police question the true motive behind the crime. They dug deeper into the girl's past, and a truth began to emerge. Initially, Sabrina's life in Lisa's household was happy. But by the end of 2011, everything changed. The relationship between Sabrina and Lisa became strained. They frequently argued, and according to some sources, they even physically fought several times. Sabrina felt jealous of her two younger foster sisters, especially little Haley. She believed Lisa gave too much love to the two younger children while neglecting her. The conflicts escalated, making the household atmosphere increasingly tense. But was this really the reason behind Sabrina's violent actions? The police felt Sabrina's explanation was too forced. A murder with nearly 200 stab wounds could not be simply the result of family conflicts. There were too many inconsistencies in Sabrina's statements. She had injured her hand during the attack, but when taken to the hospital, she showed no resistance or fear. Shortly after being discharged, Sabrina was arrested. But instead of explaining her motives, she remained eerily silent, as if she had lost her memory. Sabrina's indifferent attitude further fueled police suspicions that something was being hidden behind this case. They decided to dig deeper for the truth. Investigators reviewed the phones, computers, and personal data of Lisa, Kevin, and Sabrina. And then, they uncovered an earth-shattering secret. A series of messages between Kevin and Sabrina were discovered. More than 1,000 exchanges between them contained not only flirtations, but also discussions about a murder plan. However, these messages were vague and not strong enough to draw conclusions. Moreover, since her arrest, Sabrina Zunich had remained silent, refusing to provide any information about the case. Although the case still had many unresolved factors, at this point, the police had no further leads. 6 months after the murder, a major breakthrough occurred. While in custody, Sabrina agreed to talk to the police, but under one condition. She requested a sentence that could be reconsidered for reduction after 30 years, instead of facing life imprisonment without parole. In exchange, Sabrina promised to reveal the whole truth about the case, including Kevin's true role. From here, the crime story began to unfold. Sabrina's confession shocked everyone. She revealed that her relationship with Kevin had begun in March 2012, 8 months before the murder. Initially, Kevin pretended to care for her as a father, but gradually, he lured her into a forbidden relationship. During this period, Sabrina Zunich was at an age where she was exploring her sexuality, making her easily drawn into the affair. As their relationship deepened, Kevin lost affection for his wife. He no longer wanted to live with Lisa, but also didn't want a divorce. The reason? He loved his young daughter, Haley, and didn't want to lose custody of her. Thus, he began planning to eliminate Lisa permanently. A divorce would cost him money, but a murder wouldn't. The tension between Sabrina and Lisa escalated. Lisa started noticing strange behavior in the way Kevin treated Sabrina. The household atmosphere became unbearable. Lisa sensed that something was wrong, but she never imagined that her own husband was plotting her murder. In the months leading up to the crime, Kevin frequently texted Sabrina. The messages became increasingly dark and suspicious. He not only expressed his affection for Sabrina, but also showed deep hatred toward Lisa. He wrote, "I can't stand her anymore." November 15, 2012, a day before the murder, Kevin cried and told Sabrina that he had a heated argument with Lisa. He texted Sabrina, "If Lisa doesn't die, I will end my own life." Sabrina believed Kevin was truly suffering. To her, Kevin was the only man who had ever genuinely loved her. In reality, Sabrina had demanded too much from Kevin. She not only wanted his love, but also sought security for her future. Kevin knew very well that Sabrina was a young, naive girl craving affection. He exploited her innocence, turning her into his murder weapon. He told her, "Even if you get caught, the maximum sentence is only 25 years. When you get out, we'll buy a house, have kids, and live happily together." But in truth, Kevin didn't just want Lisa dead. He had no intention of saving Sabrina either. He only wanted money. He had planned his finances perfectly. If Lisa died, he would become the beneficiary of the life insurance policies he had secretly prepared for years. On the morning of November 16, 2012, just hours after Lisa was murdered, Kevin called Lisa's workplace. He didn't ask about her death. Instead, he inquired about life insurance claim procedures. One of the largest payouts was $250,000 from a life insurance policy Lisa had signed on October 16, 2012, just a month before she was killed. Initially, the insurance company had no suspicions. They quickly issued a check worth $249,530 to Kevin. Additionally, Kevin had another life insurance policy for Lisa that had been active since 2009. He received a payout ranging from $150,000 to $286,500. Moreover, Lisa's workplace had a financial support policy for deceased employees. Kevin also received $50,000 from this. In total, Kevin collected nearly $800,000 after his wife's death. He immediately used the money to pay off his house debt, buy a new car, and purchase another home in Florida. He even enrolled in a flight school, a dream he had never been able to afford before. The deeper the police investigated, the clearer it became. Kevin was not just a negligent husband, he was a manipulative murderer, the mastermind behind the entire case. The police officially arrested Kevin Knofel and charged him with multiple serious offenses. The most significant charges included solicitation of murder and 6 counts related to the sexual assault of a minor. However, Kevin adamantly denied the charges. He insisted that he did not kill Lisa and that the only culprit was Sabrina. The prosecution had to prove that Kevin not only knew about the murder in advance, but was also the mastermind who planned it from the beginning. The next morning after Lisa was murdered, Kevin appeared at the crime scene. He wanted to enter the house. The investigator advised him not to go in as the crime scene had not yet been cleaned. But Kevin coldly replied, "I want to see it with my own eyes." Not a single tear, no signs of grief. Kevin Knofel did not look like a man who had just lost his wife. He looked like someone inspecting his work. After confessing, Sabrina agreed to testify against Kevin in court. Her testimony shocked the entire courtroom. Sabrina stated that Kevin began seducing her when she was just 17 years old. He drove her to and from school every day and used the time in the car to manipulate her with sweet words. On multiple occasions, they even went too far right in the car. In early October 2012, Sabrina, not only manipulated by Kevin, but also acting on her own initiative, sought a hitman to kill Lisa. Sabrina told a close friend that she needed to find a hitman. She believed that if Lisa died, the assets owned by her foster parents would be worth much more than if Lisa were still alive. However, no one was willing to do it for her. In the end, Sabrina decided to do it herself. Kevin, who was supposed to care for and protect Sabrina, became her manipulator. Not only did he have an illicit relationship with his foster daughter, but he also planned to kill his wife with her. The murder weapon was a 38 centimeters long kitchen knife. However, when police investigated the crime scene, they also found several guns hidden in the house. Nevertheless, Kevin remained steadfast in his denial. He appeared calm and completely denied any involvement in the crime. Kevin's defense attorney argued that he was completely innocent. They insisted that Sabrina alone was responsible for Lisa's death. The defense emphasized that there was no concrete evidence proving an illicit relationship between Kevin and Sabrina. They argued that Sabrina's testimony, given as part of a plea deal for a reduced sentence, was unreliable. Kevin's lawyer presented an alternative theory. Sabrina did not kill Lisa because she was manipulated, but because she hated her foster mother. They claimed that 2 weeks before the crime, Lisa had told Sabrina she had to move out before January 1st, 2013. The defense tried to argue that this was not just a murder case, but a tragedy involving 3 victims, Lisa, Kevin, and Haley. They claimed that Sabrina was not entirely to blame, and that social workers at the adoption center should be held responsible for placing a psychologically troubled girl like Sabrina in a peaceful family. However, in this tragedy, One person showed exceptional bravery: Megan, Lisa's second daughter. On the night of the crime, Megan was the first to hear her mother's horrific screams, accompanied by the violent barking of their dog. Sensing something was wrong, Megan quickly ran downstairs. Upon arriving, she was horrified to witness a gruesome sight: Sabrina repeatedly stabbing her mother with a knife. Despite her terror, Megan did not hesitate. She threw herself at Sabrina, using her small body to try and stop the brutal act she could not believe was happening before her eyes. But at that moment, Sabrina was no longer the foster sister Megan once loved. She had lost control and forcefully pushed Megan away. Unwilling to give up, Megan immediately ran into her room, locked the door, and called 911. She could barely speak through her tears as she begged the police to save her mother. Megan's desperate call was the only thing that could stop the massacre. Because of this call, the police arrived just in time. After more than 10 hours of intense deliberation, the jury reached its final verdict. Kevin Knofel was convicted on a total of 11 charges. The judge sternly declared, "This case is an unforgivable tragedy. Your lawyer did everything to defend you, but their arguments cannot change the fact that if not for your manipulation and planning, the murder of Lisa Knofel would never have happened." The court had no choice but to sentence Kevin Knofel to life in prison. He would only be eligible for parole after 30 years. Sabrina also faced a similar fate. Upon admitting to the murder, she was sentenced to life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 30 years. Yet even after the sentence was delivered, Kevin continued to deny all charges. He insisted on his innocence, claiming he had no illicit relationship with Sabrina and had never incited her to kill Lisa. In February 2017, a local judge ruled in favor of awarding a $6.2 million compensation to Megan and Haley, Lisa's two daughters. Of that amount, $5 million was to be paid by Sabrina, while Kevin was ordered to pay $1.2 million. While this compensation could not erase the painful loss the two girls had endured, it at least provided Megan and Haley with more financial stability after their family tragedy. The story of Lisa Knofel's death is not just a family tragedy, but also a stark reminder of the dark corners of the human psyche. Kevin and Sabrina, the very people who should have brought love and peace to the family, turned their home into a breeding ground for murder plots and unforgivable crimes. Although Kevin and Sabrina's trials have concluded, the pain of Megan and Haley will last forever. These children lost their mother, their family, and the peaceful childhood they should have had. Megan and Haley's lives are now a journey of overcoming loss. And while no amount of compensation can replace a mother's love, at the very least, it can help them rebuild their future after such trauma. This case also serves as a reminder that justice will eventually be served. But the emotional scars left on the victims will never fade. This video concludes here. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe to continue following more thrilling stories.